Hey everyone, how's it going? I'm Jules Leyhe. I'm going to pick up kind of where I left off in my last video about the cage system. This is a pretty dense topic and is worth going into great detail about, so I want to make a series of videos about it. And I have a really cool way of this is a really visual way of seeing it in action. And if it's still kind of fuzzy to you, I hope that this way of seeing it and understanding how the chords and arpeggios and scales are all kind of one thing going on. That's what I want you to get from this video. So I'm going to explain all of this around a chord progression that's super popular, just a very common chord progression. This is going to be, it's 4 chords and it's A minor. So I'm just going to play you the chord progression. This is in a gazillion songs and is just a great launching off point for what we're going to learn in this lesson. So the chord progression is A minor, F major, C major, G major. So it sounds something like this, and I'm completely making up, this is literally like such a common pop chord progression that I'll play this and you'll probably go, oh, that song? I'm thinking of the progression more than a specific song for exercise's sake and just for having a template for us to work on this whole cage thing. So it sounds kind of like this. Okay, so the first thing with caged and what I want you to be able to do with this is to understand that and be really good at and comfortable at grabbing this chord progression all over the neck. So this is, in order to do this, limiting the range that you're playing in is a great way to make sure that you can play these chords in other places. So what I mean by limiting the range is I might try to just play them down here in the open position for a while first. That would be like this. Okay, then the next zone that I'd probably work out of is up here at the 5th fret, and that would be something like this. Now, what I want to do is I don't want to just play my A minor up here and then come down and play my F down there. That's not in the same position. So this would be, and if in case these shapes that I'm about to mention are fuzzy to you, be sure to go and watch the first video that I did on the cage system. That link is going to be right here below. But here we go. We're going to want to do this up here. This is going to be an E shape A minor chord, right? Here's your E shape A major. To make it minor, you just lift your middle finger off, right? And now it's a minor chord. So we're going to do the E shape A right here, A minor. And then we stay at the 5th fret with our index finger, and we're going to make a C shape F. And that looks like this. Root is at the 8th fret of the A string with your pinky, and then you get the A with your ring finger, 7th fret of the D string. The C is captured with your index finger at the 5th fret of the G string, and now your F is with your middle finger at the 6th fret of the B string. Right, so far we have A minor, F major, and then right below that, this is a G-shaped C. Right? So F to C is a really nice, pretty easy motion that looks like this. Now we have 2 options for the G. We do need to leave this position. We can't really, we have to either go down here, and I would get it either like this, or you could use that same shape that we played the F chord with at the 8th fret. You could move that up to the 10th fret. So at the 5th fret now, we've got this for our A minor, F, C, G. Or that G chord, like I said, could be up here. Okay, so that's our 5th fret zone. Now here's another really cool way that we can play this. Check this out. This might be in the sort of expanding your mind and doing this in ways that you're not used to, if those two felt pretty normal and usual for you. Let's come up here to the 8th fret, and this is going to focus now on the top 4 strings. So this would be like a C major chord, but we're going to put our pinky down on the A note at the 10th fret of the B string. So started with your C, which is with your ring finger on the 10th fret of the D string. Middle finger gets the E on the G string at the 9th fret. And then your pinky gets A at the 10th fret of the B string. Index now gets the 3rd, the minor 3rd, which is C. And this sounds like this. So here's A minor. Check this out. I really like playing this up here. Here's where we really get the benefit of the cage system. A minor, F. See how this is the top 4 strings of this shape. This is like an A shape F. But I'm not playing the A string down here. I'm fretting the top 4 strings only. So that would be the fingering for that. So far we have A minor, F major, C major, and now I'm going to come back here. The closest G that we have is right here. So now we can do something like... So you can see, when I first started this about 10 minutes ago, oh, A minor, F, C. Well, I can play those down here. We want to make sure that you are not just doing it that one way. There are a lot of other ways to play this, and they might expose you to just really cool things that are going on across the neck, right? Let's see, one other spot that's a great place to play this would be up here. Well, this would be exactly the same as playing it down below. Down in our open position, but you do want to make sure that you're comfortable with doing things up an octave. So instead of going like this, up here you want to make sure that you can do all of that with ease, going. Okay, so visually that's that one might be a little easier to see than some of these other ones. But now, those are some chords and different ways of playing that chord progression across the neck, and those are great to memorize, arpeggiate. And when I mean arpeggiate, I mean maybe you try something like this. Right? See how I'm playing one note at a time, and now I get a cool little part going through those chords. It doesn't just sound like, we're not just vaguely strumming the chords and there's more part writing in there. It's more of, we can like improvise a little more with things like that than just vaguely strumming the chord. But now here at the 5th fret, this is like a microcosm of the big caged thing and what we're really trying to unpack and get comfortable with. I want to show you some arpeggios so that you can arpeggiate your way through this chord progression in one position. You can do this across the neck in every position, but I'm just going to show you one because, as I said, I'm going to expand upon this in a series of videos. This is a great subject to really unpack and really get comfortable with. So this is not the only place you can do this at the 5th fret in A minor. You can do this all across the neck. But let me show you these different shapes. First off, there are I'm going to show you the major and the minor arpeggios first. And these are, we're not using dominant 7, major 7, diminished 7. There are arpeggios for those chords. Right now, we're just worrying about a major and a minor triad. So the first chord being A minor, let me show you that arpeggio first. It's really convenient because it has a lot of our A minor pentatonic scale that we already know and love and use all the time. It's really rooted in this pentatonic scale. We just take some notes out of it, and then it becomes the A minor arpeggio. So all we're playing in this arpeggio is root, third, fifth. And in this case, because it's a minor chord, it's a minor third away. So those notes are A, C, E, A, C, E. And I would fret them very specifically like this. The reason I'd fret them very specifically is because of the phrasing involved. The phrasing, when you're playing something correctly, the notes just fall in place in this way that's very pleasing and is correct as far as, we're going to want to actually have this fingering memorized and practice this way for a lot of reasons down the road. So trust me that this is the way you want to play this arpeggio. The arpeggio goes like this. And I'm going to go nice and slow. We'll be able to speed this up later, but the hare is not going to win this race. The tortoise is going to win this race. So here we go. Here's A minor arpeggio at the 5th fret. Pardon me. Let me do that again. So here's the A minor arpeggio at the 5th fret. Now, it's a little tough to get it. It's funny how this one's actually a little easier sped up just a smidge. The frets are, and you can see, let me just do this little chunk again. So here's the A minor arpeggio at the 5th fret. And this one is great to play. It's actually harder really slow like that. There are a couple of these strings where we're fretting with the same finger, and you have to roll your finger across the strings. So I would play those really nice and slow at first, but know that it is actually a little easier sped up just a smidge. And let me just speed it up a little bit for you, show you what I mean. So you can see one thing that's also happening here is that I'm not alternate picking. I'm actually taking care of most of this by just sweep picking. And it's not a sweep like I'm just sweeping across as needed and picking in one direction. So this is actually a remarkably efficient way of getting from the bottom to the top. Shredders use this technique quite a bit. These arpeggios, if you get them very clean, it's really useful to have these in your back pocket. So that's A minor, right? And right now, this is A minor on the bottom E string. So this is your minor triad shape. You want to play that with your index finger. Here's the trick. When we're playing a major arpeggio, and now here I'm going to, just since we're on this bottom E string, I'm going to show you the root position major shape. So here I'm going to stay in A for a second. I'm just going to play A major. So the only difference is now we're going A, C sharp, E. And that looks like this. And all I did there was add the C sharp up on top, right? This is totally in the arpeggio. play that again really quick. So those are both of our major and minor shapes on the bottom E string. Now, there's another very cool shape, and where we're going next, now that we have both of those arpeggio shapes, major and minor on the bottom E string, is that you'll notice our F chord up here is actually rooted on the A string at the 8th fret. So let me show you that shape next. And the coolest thing about this, it's so finger friendly. If you can make this chord, right? You're ready to play the arpeggio. It's just those notes one at a time. And going from F up to the C up here at the high, that is the 8th fret of the first string, the F arpeggio sounds like this. You can see there's a really nice sort of like a flourish on top. If you hammer on the A to the C, right? That's a really nice, exciting little, guitar-y thing, guitarist way of playing those last couple notes. It's really nice. They sort of pop, and you might get some harmonic action where, you just get some action on those notes. So this slowly is pinky, ring, index. And when I'm doing these, I just want to make sure that they're not harmonizing and sounding like this. That's the difference between playing an arpeggio and playing a chord, is that this is an arpeggio. And this is a chord. Neither is better. Neither is better or preferable or anything, but they are different. And this is probably, if you didn't know what the difference was, an arpeggio is a chord played one note at a time. It doesn't need to be the entire chord either, but that's the main difference. So that's the F arpeggio, and this is, the main thing is that now you have an arpeggio that's rooted on the A string, and specifically with your pinky, right? This is not rooted with your index or a middle finger or anything. This is specifically rooted with your pinky, which is the same as our C chord, which we're going to use this shape for, right? When I showed you earlier, we went F to C like this. So guess what? Here is our C major arpeggio. Now that one especially, we're fretting these three notes rather, with our index finger. So getting these to roll over, this is basically like your G chord here on the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings. When we're fretting at the 5th fret, we need to play those one at a time. You could hear mine was a little bit, I need to clean it up just a little bit. It wasn't the worst, but I'd rather hear it like, right? I have a little more note isolation in there that I need to maybe work on that a tiny bit. But it's okay. I can live with that for now. That's all right. But the main thing is that now we have our C major shape, which is rooted on the bottom string. So now we have another shape that's a major shape starting with your pinky. That's another arpeggio shape. We have the major one here, the minor one with your index finger, and now we have the major shape up here with your pinky on the F. And last so far, we have your C down here. Now the last chord that we have in this progression was the G chord, right? The G major. So I've already shown you the major shape. I wonder if you can actually take it on your own and play the last arpeggio with the one that I showed you earlier. I was using it as the A major. But in this case, we're going to play that same shape that I showed you earlier for major, but started at G to match our chord progression. And that last one looks like this. So what we're now going to do, in the point of showing you all of this, is I want you to be able to play something like this. This is arpeggiating our way through those 4 chords, staying as close as we can to one position the whole time. Here we go. So this is a great way of being honest with yourself, making sure you're playing all the right chords. All we're doing here is outlining each chord. But when you're doing it by just staying in one position, this ends up being the gateway to playing through chord changes, getting out of just playing pentatonic. I'm already outlining the correct chord going by. You know, if there's a melody or something in this song, and right, I'm making up this kind of vague pop song. This could be, this is like placeholder for whatever song this is reminding you of, or some song that you're learning or writing right now. These tools, these sort of, this ability to unpack an A minor chord and go, well, I can arpeggiate it. I can play it up here. I can play just the chord. Maybe it's cool if one person does something simple like just holds the chord down here, and the other person, if you're writing with a bandmate or something, the other person can do some inversion or an arpeggiated part or something. But I'm simply trying to give you options and not make you feel stuck with, boy, this progression, I love the progression, but what do I do with it? These are things you can do with it. These are ways you can play it across the fretboard. There are so many little tiny things. If you get hung up on one of these little spots, you can come up with a lot of great music. So this one question got me started on this whole caged thing and how to really get the most out of the fretboard. There are a lot of tricks and a lot of, just things that are laying there that might not be super obvious to a lot of guitar players that I want to help come over and just turn on some little light bulbs and get this to be a less confusing thing. Because I guarantee you, I still remember when the fretboard started sort of lighting up for me. And I remember thinking, it's funny. It's just not explained that well in a lot of ways. I feel like my understanding of it is at a point where I really want to get you guys understanding it better and not just being afraid of certain things. Conquering your fears by literally unlocking the fretboard and turning your question marks into things that you have a lot of command of is really exciting. So please let me know if this video was helpful to you. Like I said, I'm going to keep going on the cage thing. I have a handful of other things that I want to get to. But I really appreciate you guys checking this out. Really appreciate the questions. I'm trying to make videos based off of people's questions and turn those into really informative, just lessons that are chock full of good stuff for you guys. So I appreciate you guys asking questions. Please keep firing away with great questions. I really appreciate it. Also, if you haven't yet, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm putting videos like this out all the time. I actually also have Masterclass courses are available. These are deeper dives based on specific artists that are some of my favorites and probably some of your favorites too, When you guys purchase a Masterclass course, it helps keep everything here at the YouTube channel going. So I really appreciate your support. Be sure to check out the next video too. We're just getting started on all this stuff. So I'll see you guys in the next one.